All right, guys. First, I want to apologize for not putting up the questions for you uh, for the previous chapter, but you are still going to have to be responsible for writing the three vocabulary words, right? You can put them and open up a Google Doc and have them there. Um, so, for example, let me just show you really quick what I mean. So, if you go to your drive, let me make a new. There it goes. It's going super slow right now. Okay, so you're going to go and you can open up a blank document. And then just title it vocab for colonial life. And then here you can put in a table. Put your words on one side, definition on the other. If you want to go back and watch this multiple times to make sure you get it right, feel free to do so. I'm leaving it up to you to decide how you want to organize and keep track of your words. But remember, it's 3 words per chapter, including the first. Even though you didn't do the questions, you're still going to be required to have those 3 new vocabulary words that you picked up from the book turned in at the end of this whole story once we're done. Okay, so let's get back to the book and get started. Chapter 2, Hardship and Survival. English colonists landed in Virginia in the early 1600s. They settled Jamestown in 1605. Determined to get rich quick, many men went in search of gold instead of planting crops and preparing shelters for the cold winter. This was a deadly mistake. A supply of beef and pork brought from England didn't last long. Supply ships did not come as expected. The Jamestown settlers fished and ate anything they could hunt, including turtles, birds, and raccoons. When that failed, the desperate man also ate dogs, horses, and rats. By the fall of 1607, more than half of the settlers had died. Like the English colonists in Jamestown, those in the northern colonies struggled to find food, especially because they arrived in winter. England was slow to send supply ships. Everything had to be grown or caught. Starvation and sickness caused many deaths. So your question that I'm going to have you answer in the comments, where you have to make sure you have your author, name of the book, page number, paragraph number, evidence, and your answer. Was life on the first American colonies easy? Was life on the first American colonies easy? Make sure you have all the components for a proper answer. If you're missing any of the components, you won't get credit for this chapter. So please make sure that you respond correctly. Okay. The first inhabitants, the Pueblos, Algonquins, and Iroquois were some of the first native people to interact with the Europeans. Some Native Americans helped the colonists grow food to survive, but Native Americans and colonists often had conflicting attitudes about owning land. Many Native Americans believed in communal ownership of resources. Colonists believed in communal and individual ownership of pieces of land. These different ideas led to conflict between natives and newcomers. Seeking shelter. The first settlers built their shelters inside a palisade or a wooden fence built for defense, but to protect their small colony. Temporary homes were built out of sticks and brush. Settlers wove sticks together to make one room with a dirt floor. They used mud to fill in any holes. Eventually, colonists cleared land to make way for permanent homes. The abundant trees of New England were a great resource. Colonists built sawmills that could turn logs into usable planks of lumber. Colonists dug cellars and drove heavy logs into the ground for support. Planks placed in an overlapping pattern made strong walls. Roofs were made with sod and bark. Colonists added logs for sleeping and eventually staircases to replace crude ladders. Windows made of oiled paper allowed light in. Doorways were small and low, so people had to duck to enter through them. Small doors and windows kept large animals out. Clay was common along the Atlantic coast, particularly in Virginia. Colonists shaped it into bricks, dried the bricks, and baked them in an oven. Homes made of brick were less likely to catch fire than those made of wood. The clay kept homes warm in the harsh winter months. New England colonies grouped homes close together, churches, taverns, and meeting halls, created towns surrounded by farmland and pastures. Many farmhouses were built in the middle colonies, which included New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. In order to acquire large areas of land, settlers often simply took land from the Native Americans who were already living there. The Native Americans usually resisted losing their land, which led to battles. Native American dwellings. Many Native Americans in the Northeast lived in dwellings called wigwams. Wickiups are Wet'suwet'en. Men built dome-shaped wooden frames, while women were in charge of covering the frames with bark or woven rushes. Wigwams were 15 to 20 feet in diameter and 8 to 10 feet tall. Wigwams were relatively easy to build and maintain. Okay, so that's it for the chapter. Make sure you answer the question that was presented earlier in the video, and we'll continue on to chapter 3 later on in the week. So good luck with everything, and I will see you later.